Real Estate Rock Stars. It's Sarah Denig. And today I had the pleasure of interviewing Rachel Patterson. She is an agent out of Indiana, my home state. She is 45 minutes away. We've never met each other, but I think we're going to be best friends. She has so many great tips, especially for these new agents. When you're sitting across the table at the listing presentation, there's so many actionable items that you can use to win the presentation, how to get the house ready, how to net the most on the biggest sell of their life. So you're definitely going to listen to this one. Real Estate Rock Stars. It's Sarah Denig. And I'm from Indiana. And today I am so excited because we have Rachel Patterson, who's also from Indiana. Who's yours? I hope you're an IU fan. Well, this is so exciting. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into real estate, kind of catch us up a little bit there.
Yeah. So, like Sarah said, I'm from the south side of Indianapolis and have been in real estate since August of 2020. So, I actually, fun fact, have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, which everyone says, oh, I'm sure that helps you a lot in real estate. And yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right before the COVID shutdown, I decided, oh, I actually hate listening to people's problems. It is not fun. It's not for me. And needed to try something different. So my personal realtor posted on Facebook and said he was looking to hire more agents. Long story short, I took an accelerated class in July, passed both the national and state exams the first try, got licensed August 1st, sold my first house the same day. And it's been like a whirlwind from there.
You sold your first house the day you got licensed?
Yes.
Your personal house?
No, like I
you
sold
had a deal teed up for the day that you closed.
Literally, yes.
How did that happen? That never happens.
They were good friends of mine.
Okay.
And they had...
Did you give them free therapy or something?
I know, right? And they were ready to start looking, and a house came on the market, and we went and looked at it and won in a multiple offer situation because it was 2020 and everything was wild.
That's impressive. I mean, that never happens. I mean, we have people who don't get their first deal for a year and they're like wanting to quit,
I have always, truly kudos to those people who just grind for a year, because I don't know if I could have done that. Truly. So
maybe the universe knew you weren't going to handle that.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I got to get in here. I got to make some money. I've been unemployed for 6 months, but yeah, kudos to all the people who just put their heads down and hustle for a year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a master's too, and I was in healthcare, same kind of thing. I'm like, I'm out. I went to school for 8 years and I'm done.
Literally. Yes. I tell people I went to school for 7 years for something I used for 7 months.
Yeah. But those skills really do help. I think that, and I say this all the time, this whole real estate thing, it's therapy. It's just, and then we're doing some other little things, but it's really talking people through the biggest purchase and sell of their life. So, but yeah, I'm sure it's a lot better than talking about someone's divorce all day long.
Yeah, 100%. The skills do come in handy, but I don't have to take all of that because I'm an empathetic person. Like, I love people, and that's part of why I love real estate too. And it was just, I don't have to take all of it home with me. And that's great.
I hear that. So how are you getting like majority of your deals now?
Yeah. So all of my deals are completely sphere and referral based. I don't pay for any leads or anything like that. At the beginning of my career, I was part of a team that did Zillow leads. Okay. And I converted 12 Zillow leads my first 3 months of real estate.
Wow.
And just really took advantage of social media and made it seem to my sphere like I was busy. I mean, I was busy, but my sphere started seeing, oh, people are trusting Rachel. Other people are trusting Rachel. So now I can trust Rachel. And then I would say from 9 months into my career, everything has been sphere and referral.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm thankful.
Gotta love that.
I have loyal people and I love them, and I try to love them well, like even years after the transaction is over. And yeah, thankful
How
for it.
how are you staying in touch? Are you doing, like, client events or gifts, or what's that look like?
Yeah. So it's funny because, I think they say in real estate or in sales in general, you're supposed to touch your people 36 times a year. I have a completely different philosophy on that. Cause honestly, I think about like my lawyer, my CPA. I don't want to hear from them 36 times a year. And honestly, if I did, I might not use them anymore. I might be like, please stop bothering me. Like, you have my business. I'll talk to you when I need you.
Well, and
So
they charge you per phone call.
well, exactly. Yeah. So I kind of, I don't do that at all. I do a few very specific things. I have 2 client events every year. One in the summer where I rent out a water park and my clients can bring it's like and it's private. It's on a Sunday evening after the water park closes. My clients can bring as many people as they want, free concessions, all of that stuff.
I love
And
that.
then I do a holiday party. And typically my holiday party is pretty I'm a pretty extra person. Have you been to since you're an indie person, have you been to Commission Row? Yeah,
No.
it's downtown. It's
Okay.
Cunningham's newest restaurant. Anyways, I spent like $11,000 on my client holiday party because I
Wow.
rented out a speakeasy at like the nicest, newest, trendiest restaurant in Indy. And it was total open bar. I fed them dinner, I fed them dessert. Um, to me, it's like I want to give my clients a date night. Like the summer event is for the family. And then the holiday event is, hey, come with your spouse, your partner, whoever, bring a friend if you want to, and come have a date night. Like there's tables everywhere. People can sit just the 2 of them and they can just slow down and enjoy. And I get to see my people and it's great. So I do those 2 things every year.
Fantastic. That's really, really great.
Yeah, and it's a good time, like, truly, my heart is so full at the
Yeah.
end of those, like, getting to see all my people and see how they're doing and watch their families grow, it's truly a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
love
then
that
the
you do
3rd
one for the family and one for, the intimacy of the relationship. That's really,
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, I appreciate that. And then the 3rd thing I do religiously is home anniversaries. So, every single year on their home anniversary, I send a postcard that says happy home anniversary. And then I actually send them a letter that says, here is how much you purchased your home for. Here's what it's worth now. And I actually personally run that CMA myself. I don't do like a automated anything because I've found out that some people are like, oh, if my house is worth that, let's talk about selling it. And so I want the
Mhm.
number to be precise. And on year 1 of the home anniversary, I hand deliver that with a box of crumble cookies to their house.
Aw,
Yeah.
I might just
So
have to buy a house with you on the South Side, girl.
please, you're welcome to.
That
Uh,
is really special. I love that.
mhm.
So I'm using HomeBot, and we do have like an 81% click rate that people look and see, and there's a lot of cool technology in there. But I do think that that personal touch of here's what it's worth, especially, are you seeing like major equity in the first year?
We were, right?
Yeah.
In
Wah,
2021,
wah.
2022. Yeah. Not as much now, but in the same token, I think people really appreciate it. And that's an area where the average consumer feels lost is, can I trust his estimate? Where can I actually go to look at the value of my home? So I just provide that for them
I
once a
love
year
that.
as a little update. Mhm.
I think that's so special that you're going to that's a lot of money to spend, you know? How did you decide, like, is it a percent of what you did the year before that you use as for your marketing dollars, or how did you decide that?
Honestly, I'm not very precise when it comes to that. Like when it comes to even tracking profit and loss or anything like that. I'm more of like a be led by your heart kind of
Okay.
girl. Um, but what I came to find out was that when you're done with a real estate transaction, sometimes the clients can be, especially if they've sold and they've bought, they're stressed, they're tired, there's fatigue there. Going
Mm.
back and seeing them 1 year later allows me to solidify myself as a friend, not just their agent, but a friend. Like I go in their house, I see what they've done to their house over the past
Cool.
year. And truly, I think this is a thing that has solidified, like none of my clients have left me. I think this is a thing that has solidified those relationships.
Yeah.
Is getting that face to face time when it doesn't have anything to do with the transaction, when we get to just be people together.
So are you calling them or emailing them like a week before and saying, "Hey, it's your home anniversary. I want to drop something by. Can I come
Mhm.
in?" And how does that happen? Do
Yeah,
you
I just
ask
shoot them a
to come in?
text on their home anniversary. I say, "Happy home anniversary," or, "Yeah, happy 1-year home anniversary. I have a gift I'd love to drop by. Is there a good time this week that I can stop by?" And they're always like, "Yeah, we'll be home Thursday evening," or whatever, and it's a great time. Sometimes I'm there for 10 minutes, sometimes I'm there for 2 hours. It just
Yeah.
kinda depends on what they have going on.
Yeah, it is really fun to see the space after, they've bought it and put their own twist on it, the design and
Mhm,
all that good stuff. So that's
mhm.
that's super cool. I really
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I was looking at have you priced out like the Indians? We have in Indiana, we have a minor league baseball team downtown too. I thought that would be a fun day to have all the
Mhm.
clients come. But then it's hard because you don't really get to talk to them. So I don't know. I mean, we've done the movie theater thing too, but
Sure.
you're not chatting. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's always trying to find that perfect touch point with, they can enjoy themselves, but you still get some FaceTime with them too.
Yeah, 100%. No, I've thought about the Indians game as well. I don't know. I just haven't gotten to it
I
yet.
know. There's so
I
many
will
things.
say I will say, sorry, the
Yeah.
main point of this, because I know you asked, how do I decide what I spend on this? And, um, yeah, I spent $11,000 on my holiday party, and then the next day, from someone who came to my holiday party, they gave me a referral, and it's a sell and a buy, and that's probably gonna be $20,000 of commission this spring. I just doubled what I paid, like, I just 100% got everything, or 200%. I don't know, I'm a
Mm,
numbers girl, but you
details.
know what I mean, like, it
Well,
it
that is
truly
called
comes back
karma,
to you.
really good karma. When you do
Mhm,
good things, it comes back to you. So I
mhm,
just love that. Are you doing closing gifts too?
mhm, I
What is
do,
your
yeah.
typical closing gift?
I try to spend like $100 on a closing gift, and I don't have a typical one. I really try and make it personal to each client.
Mhm.
Um, so, it can be anything from maybe their favorite sports team. I get them some, like, a cute little sign for their house or something like
Yeah.
that. Or I just do like a new home package, a candle, a cutting board. Or I do, if I know that they're going to be doing projects, I do a Home Depot gift card
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I used to be so good at personalized gifts, and then I'm like, I go in and stage their house and spend like multiple days there. I'm like, that's a lot. But if
Yeah.
it's like a first time home buyer, I have somebody local who will draw the house and then frame it from,
Yeah.
it's so cute. And they're of course they're gonna hang it up. And so it's just a constant way that they're like, your name gets brought up as they have guests in the house. So that's always a
100%.
fun one.
Yeah. I've heard of that too. And I have thought about doing that, but sometimes I feel like that is for, how do I say this? Like, you're probably not gonna do that for a home in a neighborhood that has, like, a lot of other homes that look just like
Yeah,
it, right? Like, it's more for the homes that have character, but I'm, like, 3 days before closing, right,
I
thinking
know. I
about
know.
it, so it takes a little more planning ahead.
Yeah. Somebody's getting a divorce. You're not gonna draw their house.
Exactly. No, you're
Awkward.
sure not.
You
You'll be
gotta
like,
read the
"I drew
room.
this for you so you can light it on fire. You're welcome."
Right, right. That's so funny. So you've been in the business since 2020. Are you seeing that each year you're scaling up or where are your numbers at, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I am. I think I went so my first 365 days in real estate, I did 40 transactions for 10.3 million. And
Wow.
so I think I've gone from like 10 to 12 to 16. I went to 13 because I had a baby that
Those
year.
damn babies, they get you every time.
Yeah, they get you every time. And then this past year, 2024, I did 17.6. So yeah, seeing
Get it,
that trend
girl.
double.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Thanks.
I found out I was pregnant my first day of real estate school. So I was like, oh, perfect. It's fun. Yeah.
Poor timing on your part.
Yeah, she's adult though. It all worked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's a lot of production. So you said you were on a team. Are you still on a team or did you go
No,
solo?
I've been solo for a long time.
Okay. And what brokerage are you with?
Century 21 sheets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't
Where are
that
you at?
we're with Keller Williams
Okay.
portfolio.
Metro
We have
North,
what'd you say?
Indy Metro North.
We're part of them. We have an incubation process with them. We're launching our own it's called portfolio. So we have a couple offices here in Geist and Fishers. So
Wait, isn't you know Kyle Engel?
Yeah.
We have Kyle and I are good friends. We have a listing together on the South Side right now, actually.
Yeah. So Kyle, I met with Kyle when he first, Kyle, you're gonna love this. I'm gonna send this to you later. So Kyle Engel is a serial entrepreneur. He got
Mhm.
into real estate in his first year, you guys. This is his first year, $26 million.
Wild.
And he is an Instagram like king. He tours new houses and he's heavy on new construction. So when Kyle, I first saw him, I slid into his DM and I said, "Hey, do you want to get coffee? We're like launching this thing." And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, does next week work?" And he's like, "No, tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, okay." So we met and he was thinking about making a change. And he was, on a team, thinking about being on a team. And I was like, "Kyle, dude, like you're a rock star. Like you don't need to
Mhm.
be on a team."
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
always remember he was like, "I run really hot." And I was like, "I run really hot." So that's always
Yeah,
like our big joke. But yeah,
that's
Kyle is
amazing.
absolutely crushing it. And we're just so proud of him. Like he's such a
Yeah,
star.
yeah.
So, and his
And
wife is so great. Like they're
oh,
both
the
just
best.
entrepreneurs. Like they're
She's the
just so
best.
cute. So,
Yeah. I
it's
actually got coffee with both of them at the end of last year, and I was just like, "I love you guys. Like, you're truly just you're so kind and so
yeah.
good-hearted," and yeah.
Yeah. What's really cool about that is, real estate rock stars, we're into like not just the business, but, all aspects of your life. And Kyle is like such that guy. And it was really cool because he gave a presentation last week and we have Monday meetings.
Mhm.
And it was really like he didn't talk about real estate for like a half hour. And it was really
Mhm.
about like, taking care of yourself, getting up early, having that quiet time,
Yeah.
working out and, spending time with family. And it was so inspirational. Like I'm not doing it any justice, but
Mhm.
we have someone else who joined our brokerage who is an older gentleman and he's kind of serving as our managing broker.
Mhm.
And he has literally like took everything he said to heart. He hasn't drank in like 22 days. He like is
Wow.
getting up early, like really transformative. So like those type of people really inspire you. And that's kind of how I got into this whole thing. Aaron, I always listened to the podcast and then Aaron and I became good friends and fast forward ran an Ironman together and this
Wow.
is our, fourth year of doing the
Mhm.
mastermind. So you just never know.
Mhm.
It's such a crazy world. But yeah, I
Mhm.
love Kyle. That's so
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, you'll have to come get coffee with us sometime.
Yeah, I would love to. That would be so fun.
That's so cool. So, listings versus buyers, where are you at with that? Are you more listing heavy or buyer heavy?
I would say I'm 50-50 with a slight slant towards listings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I read that you are kind of the listing queen. So let's kind of get into that. Tell me what makes your services, stand apart from the everyday realtor.
I think the average realtor does not understand that listing prep is truly an art. Um,
Great.
oh my gosh, I cannot I'm gonna try not to get on my soapbox too much here, but I'm so freaking tired of seeing listing pictures that are, like, slanted, where there is crap all over the house, where there are trash cans in the pictures, like, people's shampoo bottles are all over the bottom of the shower. It's like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to move into that. Nobody wants to live in that. And also I feel shocked that there's their client is not like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you put these pictures of my house online," but apparently they don't care. I don't know. It truly baffles me.
Baffling.
But I go in on a house and we typically are prepping it for a month or more. Like, we're prepping it for a long time. I understand there's those situations where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I found my dream house," and we put in an offer, it gets accepted, we have to list immediately. There's whirlwind stuff like that, but for the most part, we are prepping for a long time, and I will say too, for the most part, my clients are putting an average of, I would say, five to $8,000 into their home, but that's the thing, is that your home is an investment. So
Hmm.
why, when you are about to cash out on that investment, would you not double down on your investment to present it in the best way possible?
Hmm.
I
Your biggest
understand that.
asset. I mean, it's your biggest asset. And where else are you going to make $100,000 in 3 years? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's a no brainer.
yeah, 100%. And also, where else are you gonna put $8,000 into your house and have someone pay you $20,000 to $25,000 more for it.
That is called ROI, my friends.
So to, take you through a little bit of kind of my overall process and everything that I look at, I think the first thing that you have to look at is the wear and tear of the house, right? I typically always have a painter come in and do paint touch-ups. And pro tip for all my real estate friends out there, so many painters will say you can't do touch-ups. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. They're lying to you. Don't take no for an answer and find a painter who is willing to do that for you. Your clients don't need to spend $15,000 repainting their house, but they do need to touch up the walls. Like a lot of my clients have kids. There's scuffs everywhere. Those of us who have kids, we know the walls get destroyed, handprints, all of that stuff. But bring a drywall person in. Bring your painter in. Do those touch-ups. It truly, when you're walking up the stairs and you're not looking at a bunch of scuff marks, right? Like people are seeing those things and it makes a difference. Second thing is light fixtures. This is my favorite tip and trick is buy a $150 light fixture on Amazon for your main rooms, right? Elevate those light fixtures and truly, I think just with light fixtures, I've had listings that have gone for $10K more because you're elevating the space. Like you have to have a little bit of a design eye there.
You know what drives me absolutely crazy about lights? You cannot have cool and warm in the same picture, in the same room.
Yeah.
Pick your side.
Yeah.
It should be warm.
Yeah.
But if it's cool, go all in on cool. It
should be warm. You are right.
It should be warm.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And then also removing and rearranging furniture. Like I am a big proponent of, which we typically always do staging, but I'll get to that later. There should not be more than 3 pieces of furniture in a bedroom. Like it's not the more the merrier, it's the more the crazier when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, listen, how you live isn't how you sell your house. I understand that you want your couch in the middle of the room in front of the TV, but you just closed off so much space and it's not going to photograph well.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. It's when you're listing a house, you are not just putting, like what you just said, you're not just putting your house on the market. You are turning your house into something that the average consumer is going to love, right? You're getting the most amount of people to love your home.
I agree. And, with the people who don't depersonalize, I had a lot of talks with people, especially, being an election year, like, I don't care who you voted for, but I don't want to see your political books because it's going to trigger somebody. Like,
Yes,
it's just going to hurt you. When you walk in the house, you have to be able to be in the mindset that you could see yourself living there. If it smells, if it's dirty, if it's lived in, some people just can't look past stuff like that. If you have a return vent that is full of crud and dust, no, clean it.
Truly.
Are you sending in cleaners before?
Yeah, absolutely. So after we do the whole furniture thing and declutter, right? Like I am a stickler, nothing on your countertop, nothing.
Same.
Nothing on your kitchen countertop, nothing on your bathroom countertops, nothing on your dresser tops if I allow you to keep your dresser in the room. And then, yes, we send in a deep cleaner. And this is one of those things that it's been very rare that I've had clients that I trust enough. Like clients always say, oh, we can clean ourselves. Honey, no, you can't.
I know that oven is dirty.
That
refrigerator needs cleaned out and it's got a funky smell, honey.
Truly. I mean, I'm sure you've had the clients too who you walk in the house and it's OCD before, like on your first visit, and you're like, thank God, this is going to be so easy. But I let them deep clean their own house because it's already spotless, transparently. But for the most part, I'm like, you don't really get a choice in this. We are going to have a deep cleaner come in.
So who's paying for that?
They are.
Okay.
I do not front any of these costs.
Girl, I need to take a book out of that. I go back and forth. So part of my services, I send in a deep clean. I've spent $850 out of pocket. And then I pay for all the staging and I do all the staging. I buy all the furniture and I reuse it because I love to stage. But yeah, I am revisiting that. I had a client who actually only gave me a 30-day contract. And it was average days on market was 64. And she actually made me all those costs up front. I was $4,000 in and she pulled the listing and it's now sitting for 3 months empty. And I'm like, okay, this was
Yeah,
extra. This isn't normal.
girl,
But
no.
yeah, that's good that you're able to talk that. Are you taking full commission too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I believe so strongly in the service that I provide and that I am the best realtor that they've talked to. And so what they're paying for is my time and my expertise. I'm not going to take on the cost of all of these other things as well. And they're not as invested if they don't pay for it. You know, like it's
Yeah.
anyone will let anyone pay for a deep clean of their home, but it's like to a certain extent, I want to see how invested you are because if you are not listening to my expertise on the front end and you're not willing to make that investment, then we're probably not a good fit to work together. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
So let's say that you go into a house and they have let's just say this. Let's say the clients are getting a divorce, right?
Right. Yeah.
And as you know, when people are getting divorced, they really don't care. They're checked out. It's all about like who gets what and you're back to being a marriage therapist, right?
Mhm.
So you're like, "Listen, I need you to have the house deep cleaned. I need paint touch-ups done and it's going to be 5 to 8 grand." If they are like, "No," would you say, "Okay, that's fine. However, you're not gonna net as much," and still take the listing? Or do you feel like then that's just not for you? Real estate rock stars, it's Sarah Denig, and today I'm telling you the holidays are over. If you are still nursing that holiday hangover and your whole goal for the year was just survive this season, it's time to level up. Come join us March 4th through 6th in Austin, Texas. This is a life-changing experience where people are so open. They will share. You will increase your business. If you have goals and you want to execute, come join us. We are better together, and I cannot wait to see you guys. Take this chance on yourself. Trust me.
I would take the listing if they understand that we now need to list the home lower.
Right.
Because I am not going to spend 60 days at an elevated price point that no one's going to give them and then do price reduction after price reduction when
Yeah.
I'm giving you the golden ticket on how to sell your house.
Yeah.
So if we were going to do all these things and we were going to list at 525 and you're now telling me that we're going to list the home and it's going to
Mhm.
be vacant and we're going to be able to see all the stains on the carpet and you're not going to do a deep clean, then we need to be at 499 or another thing that I do is in further conditions on the listing contract, I put if home does not sell in contract period, seller to reimburse agent for cost of marketing materials. So they reimburse me. So basically I break even except for
Girl,
my
you
take.
are a gangster.
I don't mess around because I mean, here's the thing. I'm too
I
good at
am
what I
here for
do.
it.
I'm too good at what I do. And
Uh-huh.
if they are not willing to listen to me, like truly and it's not to me, it's to data. Like we have the data that says when you stage your home, you're going to most likely make a 5% increase on the sales price of your home. And if you're not willing to listen to that data, then I'm sorry, but like I'm not spending my family's money that I've worked hard for to try and give you a chance. And I'm not taking time away from my daughter.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
I
could
love
be
that.
serving a lot of other clients
I
who
love that.
would listen.
So what do you think about this idea? So, like I said, I that is a cost that I do accrue and it's because I believe so strongly in it. And I think the opposition that I've had is they don't see that they don't understand what they don't understand. Once I
Mhm.
get my magic done and it's beautiful, they're like, "Oh my god, I don't even want to move." I'm like, "No, no, no, that's not what we're doing here." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
what do you think about like I do pay for that. I am working on passing some of it off. But have you seen anybody do like a sliding scale? So let's say that I send in the cleaners, I manage the paint, those things, but I'm going to take 3.5%, right?
Mhm.
So that's the high level full luxury package.
Yep.
If you want to pay for those things out of pocket, and you manage it, and I'll just give you the advice, 3%. If you don't want me to do anything, 3%. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the sliding scale with how involved you get. Because like
Yeah.
think of like an elderly couple who they don't have the mindset to do those things. Like I'm just trying to think how to get through those
For
kind of
sure.
situations.
So I do want to asterisk all of this because I know that I am sounding a little cold hearted right now.
No,
I
yeah,
want to
no. I mean,
asterisk this. Like,
you're confident. I mean, that comes across,
sure.
and they trust you because of these things, and you have a track record.
Sure. Yeah. So there is a, I guess, like a price range difference to this, right? Like if people are in selling their house for 200,000, I'm not expecting that. Well, actually that's not true. I did sell a house recently for 260 and we had it staged. Like we did all of these things and we had it
Mhm.
staged. But I understand that, and at that point we're going to do the best with what we have. And we're going to,
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to not work with people because they don't have these funds. My business is people first.
yeah,
I just strongly believe this is the best thing for them. Like, I'm
yeah,
not out here truly trying to make my life easier. I'm trying to say it's going to be so much less stress on you if we get an offer in the first 10 days and you don't have to keep leaving your house for showings. You don't have to keep paying 2 mortgages because you've already moved into your other house, you know? So, okay, sorry, Sarah, I went on a tangent there. What did you ask? Oh, the sliding scale.
yeah.
So, um, yes, I've actually had, I know of agents on the north side who do packages, but their packages are 6%. Well, before July 1st, right? Their packages were 6%, 7%, and 8%. So they were doing 3%, 4%, and 5%. And some of that included a deep clean. One of them included a pre-listing home inspection.
Oh
It
wow. Ooh,
included
see, I don't like that because I don't want to know. That's opening a can of worms.
Yeah, it
Like
really
somebody
is.
might not even ask for everything.
It is opening a can of worms for
Yeah,
sure.
and another big cost too is like I do professional photos and videography. So,
Same.
what we try to do is like let's say the house has a boat dock and it's a golf cart community because we have lots of
Mhm.
those because we're in the Geist area.
Yeah.
So we'll do a video where I'm like in flip flops and a bathing suit cover up, like professional, nothing
Yep.
weird.
Yeah.
And we're getting on the golf cart and we're going down to the water, and those videos can cost me like $800.
Yeah.
But I really feel that it's marketing because people are
Mhm.
like, dang, and it puts fancy like trending music behind it. And I really
Yeah.
think that, those things all together sells a
Mhm.
house. And the market's been a little weird here, but I put one on the market Monday.
Mhm.
I staged it, all the things. They did the touch ups. We had 30 showings
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
3
girl.
days.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, 3 offers. I'm like, "We're
Yeah.
coming back." I mean, this is a different price point. The luxury ones are still kinda slow, but,
For sure. For sure.
yeah,
No,
I just all those make a difference, and I like that, and I like what you say, and I think I might take some of that and have them pay for it, but would you rather get an offer, in the first week or sit through how it is when you have kids and you're selling your house?
Mhm.
To get it ready every other day or in an
Yeah.
hour, it's so stressful. Like, they
Yeah.
just want to be done. Like, "Take me out back and shoot me. This sucks." Like, if you can get it sold in a
Really.
couple days and multiple offers, I mean, it's a
Mhm.
win. It's just
Mhm.
articulating that at the table to them and getting them on the same page.
Exactly, yeah, and I pay for all the marketing. So that is I do pay for that. I pay for, like, an architectural real estate specialized photographer. I typically pay for drone footage, videography. I'm big on social media, and doing a lot of that stuff, and, like, yes, I believe that is my cost, but it's our job to set expectations. It's not our job to tell them how great it's gonna be and how great their house is and to
Mhm.
overpromise. Like, I when I went on the listing appointment with Kyle, actually, we left and he was like, "I feel like all you did was, like, tell them all of the things that could go wrong." And I was
It's
like, "Yeah, I was setting expectations, right?
yeah.
Like, you have because when people are interviewing multiple realtors, I think people just so deeply desire authenticity and someone to walk alongside them well in a situation that feels really unknown and scary. They don't wanna hear about how great now, do I tell them about the marketing? Yes, I do, of course I do, but they don't wanna hear how great your marketing is and blah, 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 blah. They wanna hear the truth, and they wanna hear what they should prep for, and they
Mhm.
wanna know that that person who's representing them is gonna tell them the truth even when it's hard to hear.
Yeah. I think that your marriage and counseling background probably set you up to have those tough conversations and to say it with conviction. And I think that that probably what really serves you when you're sitting across the table from someone because I mean, you're having these awful conversations with people about their life and helping them self-discover and all those things. So I could see how
Mhm.
that would definitely come into play
Mhm.
in this scenario. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Now,
I agree.
are you
I'm
having is this all in a listing presentation or what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's in like a pretty little booklet that I have all together. And we go through like step by step the entire process. We go through frequently asked questions. We go through the expectations. Like I set every single expectation from the beginning, and I don't want anything to be unknown because when you are in the emotional heights of the house selling, unknown
Mhm.
factors are what tend to set people off. And I want to avoid those as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you doing before and afters in that presentation, or are you saying, "Hey, this is 123 Market Street. We staged it, did all this. We got X amount more." Are you guys going through the data and leaning in on that?
Yep. Going through the data, doing before and afters. I bring physical um, examples of my marketing material, of my
Yeah.
postcards that I sent out, because I try to create a little bit of a different brand for each house. And I want the aesthetic to go with the feel of the house. And so I bring examples of my postcards, of my bifolds, of the booklets, everything like that. So they can tangibly see this is what they're going to be getting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, it can take a month to get a house ready, you're saying. So, we're painting, we
Mhm.
are, some light fixtures, and we just did that for a recent one of mine. I knew the kitchen was outdated, but they did agree to change out all the fans to, like, black fans from Amazon. They did
Great.
new, sconces above the countertops, and we changed
Mhm.
all the hardware to black just to give it a little bit more modern, and
Yeah,
I think those little touches really go a long way, because I think when
they
you
do.
start seeing stuff that's, like, super outdated, then people just start going down a rabbit hole. Just like when you see these dusty air returns, they're like, I bet they don't even change their HVAC filters. And they're like, then I wonder what the
Mhm.
foundation's like. And I wonder what the cross space. And, they
Yes.
go down, they tell these stories. So I think that if you can make it pretty and put a bow on it all day
Mhm.
long.
Mhm. Mhm. 100%. I also think too that another factor that a lot of realtors skip over is doing their best to set the tone of the experience of the home, even when you're not there, right? So as listing agents, I I partner with a luxury custom home builder on the South Side. So when I'm showing those spec homes that are 1.5, $2 million, I'm there and I'm showing those homes. I don't necessarily trust that buyer's agent to know everything about that caliber of home,
Yeah.
but we're not there. We're not showing the homes. The buyer's agents are showing the homes. And so when you approach my listings, there's a doormat that says presented to you by the Patterson Collective, has my logo outside. You walk in, there's a little table. It's a two-tier, like cute marble table. And there's a sign that says welcome to 123 Main Street. And then there's shoe covers underneath. It says please remove your shoes, take off your shoe covers. It guides them into typically the kitchen island where there's all the marketing material and everything like that. So I think it's possible to set the tone for a showing even when you're not there.
I love that. I had these custom candles made
Mhm.
um with my info. It
How
says home is where the
cute.
heart is, but it has all my logos on it. And we have a girl in our brokerage who has a candle company and like put these all over my listings and my flips just to
Love
kind
it.
of set the vibe so it smells
Yep.
good.
Poor
But
girl.
it's
That's a
just those
great
little
idea.
touches, like, and that's a fun gift to give people too. And it's like all my favorite things like lavender and fresh cut grass and,
Oh,
all the
yeah.
things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
That's a great idea, actually. I might steal that one from you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love your, where are you getting the welcome mats from?
I think I ordered them on Vistaprint.
Okay.
Yeah, just like an online branding place.
Okay. I want to steal that. I
Yep.
think I'm gonna have to
Yep.
come to one of your listings.
Yep. Please do. You're welcome anytime.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So, what else? What would you tell the new agent kind of getting in the business who doesn't really have all these tools in their toolbox yet? Like, what are some simple things that they can kind of sit at that table across and win that listing? Just some tricks that you could tell them to kind of get started.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that it's really important, and a lot of agents who have even been in the business 7, 8, 9, 10 years have not done this. But we forget, like, we just talked so much about before a house goes on the market, right? Once it
Mhm.
goes on the market and you get that accepted offer, there's a whole nother slew of things. And what I want to say to new agents is read every freaking contract that you have. Read your purchase agreement, read your seller's disclosure, read your amendments, read your first right contingency, because there are agents who've been in the business for 8, 9, 10 years who truly don't know how a first right actually works.
Mhm.
And that is where we really need to shine. Like, all of this other stuff is extra, and agents who are good at their jobs do it because they know it's going to sell a house more. But the nitty gritty is like all of your documentation and knowing what it says and knowing the implications if something doesn't happen, knowing what you can and can't put in further conditions, all of those things. So I think the first thing I would say to new agents is before you get flashy, get knowledgeable.
No, that is so important because I think that we gloss over some of that stuff and we assume that everybody knows this, but you're going to learn the hard way. I mean, I've had new agents submit me paperwork that's like owner's policy to be paid by buyer, lender's policy. And I'm like, oh, girl, like,
Mhm.
ooh, that's a lot of money. You know what I
Oh, I
mean?
will you're gonna actually die when I tell you this. I wrote an offer this week. I had the buyers. I had the listing agent counter, and it said I put a boundary, or I put a survey location report in to be, ordered by buyer, charged to buyer. Like, that's our survey, we're gonna take care of it. He put on the counter offer, survey location report to be paid by buyer, in parentheses after that, "It's not really needed in neighborhoods like this anyways." I'm like, "Do you know the amount of liability you just took on?" And I know he sold, like, 3 houses last year, so it's like, whatever. He's been in the business for 15 years and is probably dying out because he's not good at his job. But do you know the amount of liability you just took on? And you are advising, if you're telling me that, that's what you're telling all of your clients. You're advising your clients that if they live in a neighborhood, they don't need a survey. I mean,
Because,
truly
encroachments can't happen in a neighborhood, honey. Of course they cannot.
the amount of negligence that happens in this business just absolutely,
I
it
know.
absolutely kills me.
I know.
What
And
are
every profession has bad apples, but it's just really hard because I think that a lot of people, think that we just put signs in the yard and there's just so
Mhm,
much more to that. And I also like I'm a sucker for all these reality shows. Like I've watched
me
all the
too.
Netflixes. I've reached out to them and slid into their DMs.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and it sometimes it just looks really easy, but it is actually really hard.
Mhm,
And I think the biggest thing for new agents especially is just, get the business. Like,
mhm,
I think so many people just hurry up to get started and don't do anything. And, you
mhm,
got to take action. And that's such a takeaway for people just to do the work.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember when I first got into the business, my husband's a lender, and I would role play the contract. So we'd sit on the couch and I'd be like, okay, Mr. Matt, so purchase agreement's going to be 380. You are going to do an inspection within 10 days. If there's anything crazy, we can get 10 more days to, like we
Yeah.
went through all of it because I was so nervous. And it's crazy how many people just sign and don't ask anything. And I'm like, hold on. And then, it gets down to closing and they're like, well, why did they take the Ring doorbell? And where's the storage
Mhm,
unit that was in there?
mhm.
And it's like, it gets hard with those things because you don't want to lose a deal with multiple offers over something like that. But like, you got to be pretty clear about what you're asking for.
Yep,
And I think that you can't over communicate, but it's like a line to keep things clean,
yeah,
from the get go. Keep the contract clean, but not get
yeah,
too into the nitty gritty.
yeah,
So it's just one of those things.
definitely. I mean, hey, I swear that especially with, like, with our generation, no one 90% of the clients literally just click sign, and so for that reason, I kind of found that out along the way. I don't
Hmm.
let anyone sign anything without a phone call to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, a quick amendment can be explained over text, but I go through the entire purchase agreement just because I've had people be like, "What do you mean we're closing in 3 weeks? We're not gonna be." like,
I
well,
know.
purchase agreement says it right there.
Yeah, I like to really, and especially when I send offers, high level everything, like, "Here's the price, here's the closed," like, just
Yeah.
so people can really see clearly if they're forwarding my email.
Yeah.
Alright, so do you have a admin, TC, team members?
So no official team members. I have a transaction coordinator through Century 21 Sheets. They're like a C21 employee, and I just utilize them. And then I have an assistant. So she helps with a lot of marketing prep, like personal errands too.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no one licensed.
yeah. Do you think that's gonna be coming soon?
No, I actually already did that and hated every second of it.
Tell me more.
When you get into real estate and you find some quick success, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you need to start a team." It's like that is the only logical way to progress in real estate is to start a team. And so
Mm,
in 2021, um, late 2021, early 2022, I started a team and uh it was not great. I one, again, I'm a huge people pleaser.
mhm,
I know that I may not seem like it, but I am. I'm very blunt, but I'm also a huge people pleaser.
mhm.
And I felt like I just gave them the world, but they like didn't know that I
They
was
didn't
giving them the
appreciate it.
world. And
Mhm.
right, yeah. Um, and the phone calls every day, like answering questions, it's just not who I am. Like, I
Yeah.
am not a mentor. I am not a teacher. Um, I don't enjoy it. And
Mhm.
so by the end of 2022, like early 2023, I like some of my team members had life circumstances that just allowed them to go elsewhere, or I helped them find a new team or
Mhm.
whatever. But I was just like, I don't enjoy this. And
Yeah.
so I'm not going to do this just because the real estate world tells me that this is my next step. And
Mhm.
also, which I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Um, I personally don't know a team leader that like is happy. Like, the most team leaders I know are like, "I actually hate being a team leader, but I feel like I'm too deep in and I can't get out."
Yeah. No, I know what you mean because I think that's a lot of hand-holding. I think that so do you know Megan Wise is my business partner? Um, so she has a team, but she is a former guidance counselor and teacher, and she really gets her cup filled up from, teaching. So she likes to teach, she just naturally likes to teach, so it's a good fit for her. But I also think you have to find the right team. I think that, I'm a big, like, personality test person, like, I have an amazing assistant, and before I hired her, she did the DISC profile. I know I'm a high I, I'm all over the board, and I had to find somebody who was, like, super organized, and I can be like, "Listen, I'm not your boss. You keep me in line." Deadlines. So I think that if it organically happens, I don't think you should just get a team to get a team. I think that your first step should always be a TC admin. I think that a showing agent is really great. If we have somebody in our brokerage and she doesn't want to be, a real estate agent on her. She just likes to look at houses. Like for fun, before she got into real estate, she would go to an open house every weekend. So you can pay her per door, and she's doing back-to-back closings for me right now. She just likes to be part of that. So, for me, if you can free up some of your time, and not go show a house an hour away and somebody's willing to do that and still keep the rapport, I think those are really good steps to get started before you just jump into like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a team." You know what I mean?
1000%. Yeah. I also, having a transaction coordinator through Century 21 Sheets has made my life so much easier
Oh,
because I
yeah.
didn't have to train anybody. But
Yes.
I think so many people start with a TC. I actually think you should start with a marketing, like, personal assistant, like someone to
Mhm.
do, who preps all of my pre-listing stuff, who preps my marketing bundle, who takes the stuff over to the house, who meets the photographer, who runs errands, because the actual transaction part of it, if
Mhm.
you have to train someone and your brokerage doesn't offer that, it's a lot. It's a lot to trust that person with that, because if you miss deadlines, I mean, that's a disaster. instead, like, I would recommend starting with getting everything else off your plate and you
Yeah.
just focusing in on the people.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's a great tip because there is a lot more that goes into it. Getting like the seller's disclosure signed, making sure that, the flooring in the living room is hardwood and not LVP, like those little, making sure the measurements are correct when you go to enter in the MLS because I mean, our tax records are so wrong that I have been sending in an appraiser. He's a friend of mine, and I pay him per house just to measure houses before I list them because I have found like 400 square feet that wasn't accounted for. And if you're
mhm.
at 221 per square foot and you're missing 400 square foot, that's a lot of dough you're leaving on the table.
Oh,
And
yeah.
those are just little things that people overlook. But I mean,
Mhm.
don't just use the old MLS. Like we have a
Yeah.
flip right now that we're renovating, and it says it has a 3-car garage instead of 2, or it's just the silly things, like, all that's so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
100%. And on the flip side too, I mean, it's a literal nightmare if your house is 300 square feet smaller than you think it is, and now all of a sudden your buyers are losing, I mean, $40,000 because
yeah,
the appraisal square footage isn't there. I mean, truly a nightmare. So,
yeah.
yeah, I love that you do that.
Once you're under contract, how are you, staying in contact? Like, for instance, what I do is once a week, I will send them data. I will show them what hit the market in that time period. Or what are you doing to just stay in touch? Because, like, if things are sitting longer than they have, I feel like when you're not talking to them and communicating, they think that you kind of forgot about them.
100%. So, yeah, in the listing presentation, I let them know that we do Monday updates. The reason I do that is because I want all of the data from the weekend. So I go and use our showing analytics and see, okay, in this price point, in this zip code, there are this many houses for sale. There were this many showings. That means there were this many showings per house. Are we above that? Are we below that? If we're
Hmm.
below that for 3 weeks in a row, we probably need a price adjustment. And I let them know that ahead of time. Like, I let them know ahead of time at the listing presentation, there might be
What
a
to
price
expect.
adjustment coming. Mhm. For sure.
Yeah.
I don't want them to hear a price adjustment. Like, I didn't think we would ever do that. I typically say in 3 weeks, if we are below average in the data, then that
Hmm.
calls for a price adjustment. So they're prepped for that and they know.
Yeah. I think that that is such a pro tip because, you do all the things and you hope for the best,
Mhm. Mhm.
The election was a little tough. Things got slow and then the
Where was
holidays
it?
hit. I
Mhm.
had a house that I put on the market, high 800s. We did all the things, all the things. And,
Mhm.
the showings were slow. We had somebody see it 4 times, somebody see it 3 times, and they were just tired. So we took
Mhm.
it off the market. We're going back on March 1st.
Mhm.
Those conversations are hard, but you have to meet people where they're at. That was too
Mhm.
taxing for them. And so I get it. But when you're sitting at that table, you can say, listen, we're going to do all the things and here's the range. We're going to try to get top dollar. If we go for that top dollar, the market's not going to lie. So we're going to see if we're not getting showings, we're too high. If the feedback's too high,
Mhm.
let's just talk now that we will probably give it 2 weeks. If it's,
Mhm.
the wild, wild west, nothing's happening, we wanna consider a price reduction because we want that house to go back to everybody who has that search set up, and then
Mhm.
they see it, and then we market it. We
Mhm.
also really, are into Facebook ads. We target who the avatar is. So, if it's a family home with a pool, target that 30 to 45 age range, and you can do all those things, and that's part of our marketing budget. And what
Mhm.
we do is in that weekly update, we say, "Hey, we did this. We spent $300. This is how many people saw it." So they know
Yeah.
that you're doing it. And we still really believe in snail mail around here. We use something called Wise Pelican. So when something goes on the market, we buy the neighborhood addresses and then, pending or just listed
Mhm.
pending and closed.
Mhm.
And I really urge people to also try to get on the neighborhood Facebook page and get your
Mhm.
info on there because if you can become a mayor of a neighborhood and start,
Mhm.
easy farming one neighborhood,
For sure.
start with your own. You can get a
Yeah.
ton of business that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great
So,
idea. I actually love just sitting and listening to you. Because one, at the
I
beginning, you were doing, like, your spiel, and I was like, "Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm on board with all of this. Like, this is good."
well, let's be friends. We live like 45 minutes
Yeah.
away.
Truly, truly. Also, did it just start snowing where you are?
Yeah,
Because
it
it's
is. It
starting.
is.
My gosh.
Indiana, it's freezing.
Very truly.
Well, this has been so great. I think that some of the big takeaways for me are, I love the expectations that you set with people. I love that you really appreciate the person, and I get that you're like, "Oh, I think I'm coming off hard," but I don't think so. I think that you are setting them up to win, and I think that people just want somebody to just shoot them straight and not get up with all the BS. Don't promise me all these things that aren't gonna happen. And that's going to work. So I think that there's a lot of things that, especially a new agent, could take some of these tips and incorporate them into their own business and really grow. And for you to do, 10 million, 17 million this fast, like you're a star. So whatever you're doing is working. So keep that up.
Thanks, girl. I appreciate that.
So where can the listeners find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the.rachelpatterson and then on my website as well at thepattersoncollective.com.
Awesome. You can find me at Sarah Denig on Instagram. And just another reminder, our mastermind, Rockstars, Real Estate Rockstars, is March 4th through the 6th. So you should come with us. I'm trying to get a big group from Indiana to come. But it's something that's changed my life. And, I had a phone call with Elliot Hoyt, who's an OG out of Idaho yesterday, too.
Mhm.
And he went and spent 3 or 4 days with one of the speakers last year, and it transformed his business. And he
Yeah.
told me yesterday he has $250 million of new construction this year.
Oh
He picked
my
up a
gosh.
builder, and I'm like, "What?" I mean, it's
That's
just so
great.
crazy because he was an Uber driver listening to this podcast,
Yep.
and,
You
you
love to see
know,
it.
and now he has his own brokerage and systemized, and it's like we
Yeah.
started this thing from the beginning. So it's just so there's so many stories like that that inspire you. And I mean, if you can think big, think bigger. And I think that that's what this group
Amen.
brings out in each other. So we would love to
Yep.
have you. You should come. And let's get coffee soon too.
Let's do it. That'd be
All
great.
right. Well, real estate rock stars, thank you so much and stay warm.